Next question. Jocko, I've been offered a job as a deputy sheriff. I have a few months before the position is actually open. I really want/need to get into some jiu-jitsu due to the nature of the job. The closest place to me is over an hour drive away. Yeah, harsh deal. Finances are an issue when it comes to that kind of drive, plus fees to attend. My main question is, how do you feel about Gracie's online school as an option? If I were to find others who want to learn, would this be effective?
Yes. So here's what you need to do. Get some mats. You can make mats. Mm-hmm. You can get a piece of canvas from Home Depot or a piece of vinyl and string it between trees on the ground. Mm-hmm. You just have mats. You just made them all over grass. That works. I've done it. I've trained on, there's a truck called a 6x in the military. It's a big giant, like a truck. Sure. And it has, you've seen this in like your typical war movie, the truck with the canvas tarp over the back.
Yeah, Rambo.
Sure. I've taken that thing off, and that was my mat.
On top of the truck?
No. Taking it off the top of the truck.
Oh, you took that canvas
Took that canvas up, put it on the ground. Damn. Guess what I got now? Jiu-jitsu mat. Strung, put stakes in the ground. Canvas. We're good to go. Yeah. It's canvas, but it's good to go. Yeah. So you do that. Then you get on YouTube. You know, Gracie Academy, Marcelo Garcia online, those are really good. I would actually start with YouTube, just like get some basics down, get some fundamentals. You need 2, 3, 4 friends. If you got a friend that wrestled, get him in there.
Oh, yeah.
If you got a friend that did judo, get him in there. And then you just start looking at the moves and fighting each other and trying to see what works. And don't go nuts on each other. Try and figure out what works, what doesn't work. Learn the basic concepts. And then maybe Saturdays, maybe every other Saturday, maybe one Saturday a month, you drive an hour to the school with your buddies. You go in there, you say, hey man, we live up in wherever, an hour away from here. If we give you $10, can we get on the mat, this weekend? Yeah. Just for a couple hours. Can you look at what we're doing? Maybe even say, hey, look, can the 4 of us get a private? We'll all give you $20. That's $80 you can make in an hour. Coach, please. Mm-hmm. So then you get some detailed training, and that's going to give you a base. That's I think your best option. Yeah,
fully. And these online, academies and stuff, that's essentially what they're made for. If you can't make it
that's
to
exactly
the academy.
What they're made. If you can make it to academy, you go to the academy. Yeah, exactly. Wherever that academy is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think...
Podcast number 6, we talk about what to look for in a jiu-jitsu academy.
Yeah.
So go back to podcast number 6. If you're starting jiu-jitsu and you want to find a good academy, go back to podcast number 6.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah, fully. And I think to start, especially if you don't know jiu-jitsu at all, I think a lot of us started jiu-jitsu with watching UFC 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we kind of, after watching that, we kind of see, okay, I see if you have a mount, that's good.
Yeah.
If you're on the bottom, guard. If you so you kind of pick up.
Okay. I knew what jiu-jitsu was, so I didn't get to experience trying to learn the basic moves from seeing on UFC. So I'm taking what you're telling me as factual, and it makes some sense. But so did you actually compute the positions?
Yes.
You were like, okay, that's the guard. So you must have watched in detail.
Well, no.
You must have watched where you must have been like, okay, that guy hoist Gracie, that guy that's wearing that white thing, that white uniform, look what he's doing. He's got his legs closed around that guy. That's what you guys were doing.
Essentially, but...
Because even the announcers weren't calling it guard back then, were they?
Yes, there was a guy who was a real nerdy guy, and that was UFC 2, I want to say. Mm-hmm. Maybe even 1. I forget which one was which, but yeah, he knew, and you could tell he was kind of prideful that he would train with Horian or whatever, but he goes, see, now he's going to pull him in between his guard. That's good. Rudimentary. Yeah. But he knew, and he goes, okay, he's going to mount, and it was real repetitive because he'd do the same thing. So yeah, you essentially, if you're paying attention, you learn guard. That way. You don't learn how to do an armbar,
Well, when I teach kids sometimes, I'll just say, you want, for let's say a kid's been training for a day, it's their first day, you want to keep your legs around them.
Right. Yeah.
That's guard. They don't even know what they're doing. And then you say the other kid, you want to get away from or get around their legs.
Yeah.
And so they just try and do it. Yeah. And that's a pretty cool way to start things off.
Very
You'd be
cool.
surprised at what kids will instinctively do to make things happen there.
Yeah. And you, even at the muster, you know how you explain it just real quick? Mm-hmm. This is mount, this is why it's important, this is guard, this is why it's important. That's really... the other day, there was a new girl in there. Her name's Sarah. I remember that because I know someone else named Sarah. But anyway, Adam, it was time to roll rounds. So he was like, "Hey, there." Adam was like, "Hey, there's some new people here."
Smasher.
no day, 0 days, whatever experience. Can you, I don't know, teach her something? You know, as the rounds are going on, because I didn't have a partner at that time. Came in late, whatever. But so I went and I did essentially that, just a crash course. This is mount, this is guard, this is side mount, you know, and this is the importance of each one. And then this is literally takes 5 minutes. So I mean, here's the importance of everyone. And then I do a little quiz at the end. I say, okay, boom, boom, we fight. It's like a half speed. We fight, boom, we fall to the ground. Where do you want to be?
Yep.
And, you know, so it's like a little quiz. And boom, right there, that 5 minutes, you learn everything that I learned from watching UFC 1, 2, 3. But in a more specific
And
detail.
you were studying them and you were trying to figure it out. But yeah, you can learn it in 5 minutes from somebody showing it to you.
Exactly right, if that's what they're teaching you. A lot of times people will go in on their first day. And some academies, they're dope. They'll have an introductory class which is kind of that. It's called an introductory class. But if you're like, hey, this is my first day, let me see what I can learn, then they'll learn like some, you know, omoplata or something. And they're like, wait, whoa, I don't know how this even makes sense to me, you know? Yeah. But if you learn that crash course, or, you know, even going to muster, that's why it's so cool. You go over that and everyone's like, dang, this is cool. And you can leave that and now you're way better off.
You know what's funny at the muster is everyone has heard us talk about jiu-jitsu. So they have this anticipation of it being really cool. And then when they connect the dots between like, okay, you learn the mount and then you learn the guard and then you learn the sit-up sweep. And when you're done with the sit-up sweep, you're from the guard, you're back in the mount. And people are like, it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Man,
there's the magic.
Yeah, it is. And it's essentially before the actual moves, like doing the moves, it's just you have to know what's important and what's not. Like if you mount on someone just by happenstance, you don't know what mount is or the importance of mount. But if you wind up on the mount, you're trying to punch the guy. I'm saying in a fight, you're trying to punch the guy and trying to do damage, trying to win the fight. But punching the guy is not what you should be focused on primarily. It should be keeping the mount.
Maintain the position.
Yes, exactly right. But no one's going to automatically know that. It's not, you know, you're trying to beat up the guy. I'm on top. I can punch him. Let me punch him. But no, it's just one of the many examples.